I did.
Omen, I did, yeah. Good afternoon, good morning. You know, if you watch enough of these videos, you know the spill. We're going to get right into this. Now, before we start, the password for this video is Iron Man sucks. Last week's video was Shadows, which for was Real Men. The password for that movie was A Glass of Water. I think that this will be a ongoing thing for those who actually watch the movie with us. They will get it. If you don't get it, go watch the movie. All right. So now that we've said the password,
If
the
anybody
password was what, Jack?
Iron Man sucks.
All right, somebody's paying
I
attention.
hate saying it, but that is the password. Also, if anybody else wants to join this live stream, we have to ask them the password, and if they get it wrong, well, then they can't join.
They get banished.
That's how we test this.
They get banished to perdition.
Right. All right. Now picked out Batman Lego movie or Lego the Batman movie. I think it's one of those ways to say it. Why did you pick this movie?
Because it's just a fun movie that that a lot of people don't want to. It's not that people don't want to watch it, but most people may not have watched it. That's just it's humorous. It's tongue in cheek. The whole point where how in the world Lego was able to get all of those different IPs all together and
I looked into that
and mishmash them.
I looked into that one.
You had everything from Harry Potter to Lord of the Rings versus
it's all IPs that they've already made Lego sets of.
Yeah,
right. No, I understand that, but I mean, just the fact that to mishmash all those together.
A Jurassic Park, Doctor Who, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, the Gremlins. I think Gremlins was my favorite Lego. I will have to go find some Gremlin Legos now. That was amazing.
I think Wizard of Oz was kind of a shock as well.
There was a witch.
The flying monkeys.
Yeah, the flying monkeys are new, I think.
And what I really love is when he goes over and at the beginning part where Batman decides to fight off all of the criminals, and they're saying, "No, these are actual criminals in the comic."
The Eraserhead.
The house, DC, the house that Batman built. You heard me right, Superman.
I can't believe there was no Penny Plunderer.
Man, your dad was in the movie. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The ketchup mustard guy?
Condiment Man. Yes, that was
Condiment King.
I'm sorry, I gotta correct myself there.
It's some of an inside joke into a different Discord where I put up a picture of Batman giving the finger. It's one of my favorite Batman pictures. And Shadwell decided to jump onto that. And I told him he was the Condiment King. And now they've seen him.
But I mean, what happened is I went over with my friend. We went to the movie theater at the Alamo Draft House, and we're like, well, we like the Lego movie, not Lego 2, not so much. And we just went out and had a lot of fun with it. And that was, and we're just like, man, it's just so fun. It's just a fun movie, which was the whole point of why I said guilty pleasures. That's all we're doing. Hey, let's go have some fun with this.
To be honest, Omen, I don't see why you would feel guilty about watching this or being a fan of it.
Maybe being over the age of 16 and watching it, there's the guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
No,
I haven't watched.
You got a kid. You say, I saw it with my kid.
No. I saw it with my friend. We're both adults in our 30s or 40s. So
see, you don't need to say that. A little white lie every once in a while ain't gonna kill you.
The thing is, I haven't watched. I've seen in my recommended a bunch of video essays about this movie in particular, and it's one of the few times I haven't decided to go on a binge watching every single thing I can about a movie before I watch it.
Lego. I mean, I know the Lego movie was before this movie, and the Lego movie. If you have if you go out to your local, I would say video store, but those don't exist anymore. If you go on the internet, Voodoo or whatever, there is a bunch of Lego movies out there now. Maybe not like big screen movies, but
Cartoons, yeah.
there's a bunch of Lego cartoons out there now, and I don't think it's a bad medium to play with. I really don't. I mean, I lose something in the graphics because of my vision issues, but it's a fun medium to play with. And as we've all talked about earlier, the fact that they were able to pull in people from other
Clash of the Titans, Kraken.
right, King Kong, Kraken, all of them, and just
Was that
have
what that was?
yeah, that was
Yes.
the Kraken.
The Kraken from the great Harryhausen Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
Right. It didn't.
Ray
I was-
Harryhausen.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of
Why do
hoping.
you have 4 arms?
Because it had 4 arms in the.
the movie's got
I
4
used
arms.
to have the.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I used
Yeah,
to have
we had
the
4
toy.
arms.
It had 4 arms.
I was kind of hoping you see a TARDIS in the background, and some of the heroes from those
Might
movies.
have been.
Well, we had the Daleks. I mean,
Dalek, yeah, that's why I wanted the Doctor Who because we got the Daleks. I mean, I was hoping. I'm glad that they didn't, but I really, really hope that they did.
I still like the fact that they had the Velociraptor.
But they never said Dalek. They said English robots, is I think was what they called them.
Evil
but
British
that
robots.
makes it even more fun because you know what they're talking about when you see it.
Absolutely. I'm just saying that
Oh, yeah.
it might have been a little too on the nose to have the doctor show up.
Well, there are actual Doctor Who Lego kits.
No, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I used other
It's broken
characters.
a billion pieces because my kids.
No, when he goes up there, when Superman's talking and all the different, you hear all the different voices from that, and I hear Lord Voldemort. I'm like, wait, what? Then when they actually go there, I'm like, Superman, you dog. But all right, let's get this going. Who was your favorite villain? And you can't say the Joker. There's so many.
I know.
I already got mine. I mean, come on.
Okay,
Yeah,
Bob,
I already got
Bob,
mine
you
too.
want yours first?
All right, Bo, what was yours?
Billy D. Williams as Two-Face, man. Because it
That was
represents the
good.
Easter egg. It was the Easter egg of the Tim Burton Batman that could have been had there been a third one with Billy D. Williams as Two-Face.
Fair
And
enough.
Billy D. Williams, Colt 45, man, the king of cool. Lando Calrissian his own damn self.
All right, Jack.
I'm gonna go with Sauron. Dude, I like singular eyes. I don't know.
Oh my goodness, the fact that I'll let that one be. Shadwell.
Yes, you're doing it.
I'm gonna go. Honestly, I'm gonna go with the Wicked Witch of the West from Wizard of Oz. That was just that movie doesn't get enough love anymore, and it really is one of the classic original.
How many times? I mean, there's been a lot of Oz movies, but there hasn't actually been a remake of Oz.
Well, because if they did, wasn't Cecil B. DeMille made it claws way to the grave and kill you?
Maybe. I don't. I mean, I know there was Return to Oz. There was the
Return to Oz was kind of dark. you
Why
know?
would
Return
you
to Oz
have
was
like
very
35
dark.
Oz
But
books?
Tin
Why
Man
would
was
you
pretty
have
good. What are you
remake
talking about?
Wizard of Oz when you could just do one of the other Oz books?
Right. I didn't know there was more than just Oz. I didn't know there was
Oh,
more than.
like 30, dude, that's your go read a book.
I read. I do read. I read all the time.
Yeah, Frank L. Baum wrote a lot of Oz books. I don't know how.
And then there were like 2 or 3 that were written after he died, for crying out loud.
Right now, I'm reading on how to perfect my brewing.
Oh, cool. Well, that's even better. At least
Well,
it's
then
useful
get drunk
skill.
and then read one of the Oz books. There you go.
All right. Then after I'm done with that, I'm reading one of the Grim Tooth trap making books.
Wait a minute. Just for you, because we're talking about this, they're going to have a 5e version coming out for Grim Tooth's traps.
See, even the internet does not like that.
No,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
censoring him. They don't want that information out there.
But no. If you go look at it, it's the Grim Tooth's traps for 5e and DCC comes out, I believe, around November 1st or so.
I will have to look into it. Just out of curiosity.
I'll let you know. I'll send you a link.
All right. What about? All right. Who was my favorite villain?
Wait, did Owen? Oh wait,
Everybody's went but me.
What? I'm right here.
No, I still haven't gone, but
Oh yeah, who's your favorite villain?
I like the Kraken morph, like when he did the when he shot the fireball and he screwed up and he did that expression and goes into the water.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
cool.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
true. Wasn't wrong.
I like Jaws. Just because it was Jaws.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That's a classic throwback.
All right, that wasn't me. But yeah, I think Jaws was probably my favorite. Just because I didn't know that they made a Lego Jaws, or it could just be a shark. But either way,
There are Jaws great white sharks. There was a whole theme, a whole Lego theme with underwater stuff.
Oh,
Right.
here's the other part. I'm not sure if you got the reference there, Connell. Is the bat spray?
oh yeah, no,
the
from the 1960s Batman movie with Adam West and the whole
The shark
yeah,
repellent from the Batman movie.
the Batman movie. Yeah, I've seen it a handful of times.
White sharks.
Who has the feedback here?
Don't know.
Okay.
Jackie, was that you?
I don't think so.
That would be
Someone's got a really weird echo.
okay. Not me.
Nose goes.
Sound off.
Me.
It's not me.
No,
Uh-oh.
it's okay, Jack. You just have to figure out how to play properly with it.
Oh no, yeah, I turned it off.
All right. So I don't want to ask the original or the regular questions with this movie because it's not one of those regular type movies. This was truly something special. I mean, this makes me so glad I picked out Howard the Duck special. No, that's not nice.
Hey! I saved up my my other guilty pleasure for next year when we do that, which will be Spaced Invaders. But
Okay. So we did villains. I mean, who was your favorite person on the Hero Squad that wasn't Batman? The reason why I say that is because everybody's going to say, well, Batman. Well, Batman.
Alfred.
All right, Alfred. You know, Alfred was played by the guy who played Voldemort, so I would love to see his face.
Ralph Fiennes did.
Yeah, he was the voice of Alfred.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There were a ton of relatively famous people who, in
Oh yeah, and no, in fact, most of the cast is a who's who, and imagine
I was
getting
really
to show up for a 10-minute part, 3 speaking lines.
And thank God Patton Oswalt wasn't one of them.
Well, he's probably still mourning, from killing his first wife.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Hey.
Boys.
Hey,
All right. Well, who was your favorite? Who was your hero that was not member of the Batman squad? I mean, it wasn't Batman.
The Rope.
The Rope was good. It listened. It did its job.
no, Rosario Dawson as the Commissioner Gordon's daughter,
Barbara.
Batgirl. I think that Ahsoka aside, I think she's done a lot of cool stuff in Hollywood. Ever since Clerks 2.
Yeah. I mean, she was in Sin City. She was in Clerks 2. She was night nurse in the Daredevil TV, the show on Netflix.
I honestly thought it was something must have been going on wrong with my ears, but I thought because before I looked at who was in the cast, I thought it was actually the same woman who played Lana from Archer. I can't remember her name. Pam Grier, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've never seen
that's
Archer.
where your voice was hitting my ears. That's who I was picturing, but then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, okay. To be honest, I didn't know who she was. the other woman, Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, she's been around for a while. I mean, at least since the early 2000s, if not.
I knew her voice was familiar.
I've
No,
almost
it's not-
enjoyed everything she's been in.
Yeah.
I've yet to see her new.
Rent. She was in Rent.
Well, I mean, the beginning of the Clone Wars was not particularly good, and well, I guess it's hard to say for some of the other stuff.
So we got Alfred, we got Barbara. Who's your pick, Jack?
I just said Alfred.
Alfred again. All right. What about you, Omen?
I said the rope.
You said the rope. I didn't know that was your serious. I didn't know that was a serious answer.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like all the others, but that's one of my favorite scenes. Is like, rope, you're in charge.
I like the computer.
Oh yeah.
That was the voice of Siri playing herself. It was. No joke.
Oh God! So this is one of those movies where, if you really want to, you will have to go back and watch Easter eggs. Well, look for the Easter eggs. Is there a particular Easter egg outside of Two-Face? Because Two-Face was a great call out. I will give you that one. Was there any Easter eggs that made you just outrightly laugh?
This has so many Easter eggs. It's hard to narrow any single one.
I know, but you know.
Probably the Condiment King, and when they go through the whole list, like the Calendar Man and everything else for Batman, and you're just like, are these real villains? Like, they are real villains.
Eraserhead.
Yeah.
No, they were.
All right, what about you, Shadwell?
Maybe we should just go to Bo or Jack.
Bo, all right, Bo.
No, there's there's a scene where in the beginning when Batman is home talking to Alfred, and he goes back through all of the movie appearances all the way back to the 1965 Batman movie, and even shows a brief picture of George Clooney's bat nipples. But when it comes to the movies, Michael Keaton is always my favorite Batman. So any reference to him is going to get a nod.
All right.
I agree with Bo. That is such a great, when they go through all the different costumes and everything else. Yeah.
What about you, Jack? Any Easter eggs that you picked up?
Just looked it up. The Penny Plunderer is in this movie. The big penny, that was his.
Ah, good to know.
He's like, I have been thwarted. I have to go back and rewatch it.
I was this whole time I was thinking, because I know that DC kind of wants to distance the big penny from the penny plunderer, but you just can't. It's his penny.
Easter egg, Shadow. I mean, is there any Easter eggs that grabbed your attention?
What do you mean by Easter eggs? I mean, the movie was nonstop as far as I'm
Was there
concerned.
just one? Was there a particular one?
I'm gonna go with the. Well, I don't know if it's like Easter egg, like it was hidden and not in plain sight.
It was a reference to another movie. Doesn't mean it was hidden. It was just a reference to another movie.
It's just
Yeah,
asking for callbacks.
Yeah,
Well,
there
except
was
for, like-
there was just too many. The movie, I was too busy just laughing my ass off, to be honest. Just all the little things. It was just I couldn't believe, like they said and did some of the things they did. It was I'll definitely, I'm glad I bought it on DVD because I will watch it again.
Oh, you bought this one?
Yeah, I got it at the library for $1.
Oh. This movie's worth more than $1. Maybe $1.50.
It is.
Well, at our library, paperbacks are 50 cents, hardbacks are $1, and DVDs are $1. I want to go back and get like the whole Voltron series just because they like had it, but I only had like $5 cash on me, and they didn't take ATM cards. You got to actually put the money in this little metal box. It's like the honor system, and I was like, I got exactly $5 worth of books. Okay, boom, I'll come back.
Wait a minute. We got to be honest about this. It's not that he paid $1 for the Batman movie. It's that he had to buy a whole new DVD player to watch.
Yeah, I did.
That's true. So that was like that gets you up to.
Well, I didn't know that until after I got home. That's what sucked. I was all ready. All right, I'm going to throw in the movie, and then the DVD player didn't work, and I also
Can you
recently
find
bought-
DVD players anymore?
Yeah.
Well, DVD,
Yeah.
Blu-ray. I buy the Blu-ray, so they'll play both Blu-rays and DVD.
Not being sarcastic, just out of curiosity.
I got
I
it.
just recently also bought Logan's Run, and I was figuring I'll make it a double feature. Start with a cartoon, go into Logan's Run, and DVD player didn't work, and so I had to go back and buy a brand new DVD player, and hopefully this one will last a while. But fortunately, I did buy the warranty. The first time I bought, or the last DVD player I bought before this one was an LG. It cost me like $20. I go back 2 years later, it's $40. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to get the warranty this time.
How much does a DVD player go for these days?
$40 and up. I bought the cheapest one because I don't really use it that much, but at least this time I'll get my money's worth.
It's a nice dust holder. Is that what you're telling me?
I just really don't watch a lot of movies.
That's fair. I'm trying to.
I'll say this much: as
I'm
I
going to
bought
try and fix that though this
a
year.
Blu-ray player burner just so I could burn a lot of the PDFs I have in case my hard drive crashes. So
That's fair.
so that's so I like both. But
So you could so you could read your books on the big screen.
well, what I'm afraid of is if my hard drive dies, then I lose all of that other data. Whereas with that one, I can always get it. If I burn it to a Blu-ray, then I can always just get another Blu-ray if I need to plug into a different computer to read it. So
That's pretty smart. Pretty
It's
smart.
not much of an Easter egg, but it kind of is. It's just to show you how old Batman is. But when Batman and Robin broke into Superman's, when Robin broke into Superman's,
Fortress of Solitude.
and they were having the anniversary of how old the Justice League was. I'm like, that's cool. I can dig that. And I had to pause. I'm like, okay, there's Hawkman, Hawkwoman, Green Arrow. I don't know who the fuck you are.
But see, that's what makes
Wonder
this.
Woman was there.
That was part of the reason I love this movie is you can just pause it the entire time after you've watched it just to see on all the things in there and like for all the stars in there, they might only have one or two lines total.
Yeah.
And yet, and maybe that's because this is a cartoon. They only have to read their one line and then leave. So it's just like, hey, who wants to be part of this? And they're probably like, yeah, I'll do it. Okay, we can give you like $5,000 or something.
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
it was kind of like reminiscent of being in like a South Park movie.
Yeah.
That was the other one. Is like we're going to hit him so hard, words are just going to appear. Poof, bam, ding,
That was
boom.
fucking awesome. Excuse my French, but that was pretty awesome.
Oh, that is a great callback right there. That is
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there. I've never really enjoyed the Adam West Batman. I've tried. I felt I was disloyal for not liking it. But then they have that scene where Batman is dancing.
Oh yeah.
That was just
And I know it's a generational thing. You had to be there to get it. But I'm glad I wasn't there. I never want to see that again. This is why I don't respect Adam West as a Batman.
well. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Believe it or not, there was an era of Batman that wasn't far from that.
Oh, I believe it. I truly do. But that's not Batman.
Well, here's the thing. You have to remember a lot of us that are 10 years older than you are, Colin.
Well, that's weird because
It's we grew up with it on TV right along with Star Trek. And
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
well, I mean, it was a tongue-in-cheek, humorous look at Batman, but so was this.
This one hit. I don't know. There's a few other things about the Adam West Batman. Although the Eggman was there. Oh my God, Vincent Price as Eggman in the original Bat. I've seen the entire series, the old one. I have watched it. I just don't care for it.
Well, there's no problem with that. It's just that, but you get the references. That's the whole.
Yeah, I got the references. I mean, people want to bitch about Star Wars, everything past the first three, right? Well, that to me, that Batman is Force Awakening and all the other shitty Star Wars movie wrapped into his TV series. That's my opinion of it.
Connell,
What do you mean? Force
we're not
Awakens?
judging you on
What-
that. I don't
what is this?
disagree.
Did they make like a 7th movie? I haven't heard of this.
Oh yeah, but anyway,
I thought they only made 3 for Star Wars, and after 1983, they stopped
I only
making
thought they
them.
made
And
two.
apparently, this year is the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah.
It's funny. It's everybody hates and this is not on point to Batman. And you know what? We'll save this for somehow. I'm pretty sure Jack is going to make us watch another fucking Star Wars movie, so I'll make this point later on. Because next year, as I said before, will be nothing but sci-fi movies. So I'm sure.
Another perfect sci-fi movie to pick.
I know what my first sci-fi movie is going to be. I'm trying, but we'll get to that later.
To be fair, I'm creating a list to just throw up there.
Yeah,
So people can add to it, so we can go look at it. But I'm already.
I
at
had
30
like
movies.
an argument with 3 different people over this movie if it's sci-fi or fantasy. I think it's sci-fi.
It's close enough. If you got starships, we're good. That's all I look at. If you put content on that, I'm kicking your ass.
I mean, okay. So back to this movie. Was there any part of it that you did not like? Which I know there's probably going to be. Is there any voice actor you would trade out? What was the one about it? Does anybody have one?
Oh yeah.
I think Shadow, yeah, but I don't.
All right, Shadow.
When Batman and Robin are in jail and they do the rap, I wanted to throw something at the screen. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it.
So no bat rap for you. Gotcha.
Well, that's fair, but I still thought it was funny. I'm going to bring up the part is when he decides to watch what was that? Was that Jay Maguire or whatever? Relationship
yeah,
movie.
Jerry Maguire.
I'm like,
That
it's
was- I've
funny
never
for
seen
what
that.
it is, but I hate but I hate that sappy aspect to it. So
I almost want to make it
That was
mean
kind of
me playing Xbox 360 Batman Lego movie and have Jerry Maguire in the background.
so
Yeah, I could have done without that. Jack, you said you didn't have anything?
I can't think of anything.
I got 2.
2, that's almost heresy.
I got 2 things I didn't exactly. I didn't like the way they portrayed Robin. I get that Robin was a kid and he's supposed to be silly. This is a Lego movie. I get all that. I just didn't like the way they portrayed Robin. Second one, and I know I'm going to catch some hell from this. I grew up in the 90s with a particular Joker voice. You might not like
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, you might not like the actor for his more recent
Interesting
thought
too.
processings, but to me, he will always be the voice of a Joker.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't like the Joker's voice either, but I was okay, because it was fine. It's what I'm not saying anything needs to be perfect, but I agree with you.
I don't think that Mark Hamill's voice would fit this version of the Joker. I could be wrong.
I'm going to bring up one other part. Is by my understanding, and what was the Mark Hamill has refused to do any more Joker after a certain time period.
As soon as he played Batman, Kevin Conroy, whatever his name is.
No. Did you ever buy the Arkham Asylum in Arkham City.
Oh yeah. No, he stopped being a Joker, the voice of a Joker, because he thought no one wanted him to be the voice anymore. But he did come back after there was a huge uproar about him not being the voice of the Joker.
By my understanding, he said he does not want to do it anymore ever again, and that may be part of the reason he wasn't in this movie.
And that's his prerogative. He's been the Joker for 30 plus years. I mean,
he has been doing it for a while.
You know, if the guy who played Batman, the voice of Batman, Kevin Conroy, said, "Hey, I'm done being Batman," because he did like 90% of all the Batman animated movies and the TV series and the cartoon series. Dude, I've done this. I'm done. I get it.
Didn't he die?
He just recently died.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked him for that. And the same one I think that did Superman. Did he also pass away? I can't remember.
No, there's been a couple different Supermans over the years, but yeah, no.
Wait. The voice actor? Are you talking about the same guy who used to be in the Drew Carey show?
No, the original not the original Batman.
One of them was in the show called Wings.
Yeah, he played Superman. He did play Superman during the TV Justice
cartoon.
League.
Yeah, the cartoons I thought were great. The 90s cartoons were great.
Tim something, I can't think of his last name. But yeah, but I don't know. I mean, the guy who played the Joker's voice in Batman Origin, the Arkham Silent Origin, he at least was a Joker-ish voice. Zach, whatever his last name is, the comedian. I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't like him anyway, so it doesn't. But yeah,
I'm just glad it wasn't fucking Mark. Not Mark. God, he was an elf.
Oh, you're talking about Will Ferrell?
Yeah, I'm just glad it wasn't him.
I don't know who that is.
You're not missing it.
Did you ever see the movie Elf?
Oh
No.
Have you ever seen it's Jesus.
Anchorman.
Anchorman.
I haven't.
Although there was an Anchorman film, or was a scene where I thought they made an Anchorman reference in the movie. I'm not 100% sure though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently, we lost Bo. All right, so. Oh God. Is there any? I don't know how to ask this question. Jesus, is there any scene that you could have done without? I know Shadow's going to say the rap scene in prison. You would have preferred more of an Elvis. I'm nothing but
Johnny Cash would have made more sense being in jail, but
yeah.
But look, pretty much, there's nothing I would have cut out. There are just certain parts I didn't like that much because it seemed to just a little jarring for the way it shifted. But no, I mean, I can't think of anything where I'm going, this was completely unnecessary. They should never have put it in. It did have little references in there that said, oh, okay. I didn't have to like everything, but I'd expect if there's a movie that I love every single part to it, that means there's probably something wrong with me rather than the movie.
Yeah.
I want them to do a Lego version of Casablanca.
Oh.
That would be atrocious.
Why? That would be.
You can't remake. The problem I have is you need those voices. Without those voices,
You have AI now.
So.
That's a travesty against mankind.
No, a travesty against mankind was the last Flash movie, the most recent Flash movie. God.
Yeah, you're right. It was. The actor who played Flash is a demon. Now I'm fully convinced that is not a human being.
Oh, the actor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care much for him. I could have done with. I think they could have clipped like at least 20 seconds of the jail scene, prison scene, with Batman and Robin. And you can slide it back in where don't feel bad. Clip, bat facts, and be done.
I'm not saying you could, but little things in there. Just like I don't like a lot of stuff in what was the Blazing Saddles, but
Right.
everyone else does. So I have to be careful. Like, you want to make it. To me, as long as you have enough jokes coming that I'm laughing, if you have a little bit where I'm not laughing, I'm okay with that. So that's good about that.
Shadow, are you still with us?
Oh yeah,
Your camera's
my
frozen.
camera again.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's frozen.
I'll ask a question. Hey, Jack, how much did you enjoy this movie? Is it up there
A
with
lot.
Battle Wizards?
Wait, what?
Is it up there with Battle Wizards?
It's up there with Battle Wizard. Nothing will beat the Battle Wizard. Nothing will beat Xenophobia, but it's up there. It's up there.
Oh no. And using your terminology, there wasn't anything incredibly gay about the Lego movie.
Nope, nothing.
There was Robin. That was about it.
Robin,
That doesn't count.
there were a couple other Robins. If they wanted to go that way, they could have used.
Well, but I think it made it funny when he's just like rips off his pants, like, really? Because they made callbacks to all of the different Robins. They made callbacks to all the different Batman. That's what I.
Oh,
that's
hey,
what I
did
thought.
anybody catch the Batman Beyond costume?
Oh yeah, I
It's like,
caught that one.
Wait a minute, that's in the future. Like, okay.
Well, no. He had the costume. He just got too old to play it after a while.
The Mexican Batman uniform.
Oh yeah.
That was my favorite.
I can imagine why. I'm trying to think. Was there anything you cut out, Shadow?
Just that one rap scene. That's about it.
Yeah, I think me and you agree on that one, Jack.
It
Nope.
just wasn't necessary.
No.
Especially since Batman claimed to be such a metal, heavy metal fan. Anybody who knows the history of heavy metal knows that rap damn near destroyed heavy metal because of MTV refusing to play any more metal and went entirely. It's like they flipped a switch from metal to rap overnight, and many people I know never watched MTV again.
I stopped watching MTV when they stopped playing music videos. Let's be honest.
I went to
And I'm
VH1.
frozen again. Great.
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
went to VH1, then VH1 betrayed my trust.
Well, hopefully, as long as we can hear Shadow, it's okay if it gets frozen. It's just
Okay. Favorite scene. I mean, do you have a favorite scene? Yes, Jack?
I forgot what I was going to say.
What's your favorite scene, Jack? Since we're just starting off there.
Yeah.
What's my favorite scene? I don't know. Can I just say the whole? No, that's unfair. I don't know. I'll need more time to think about that.
All right.
Like off the top of my head, I would say the whole movie.
All right. What about you, Shadow?
Favorite scene. Let me think about it for a second.
Okay, well, I'll put mine up there because it's unfortunately it's a pretty long scene, but there are a couple in there. One is when they put the parental bat controls on Batman.
Yeah.
That was one, and then the other one was I still love the whole when they're flying in the bat vehicle and it's being attacked by the gremlins and the rope and just that, and that's a long chase scene. But I mean, but the whole thing, he's like, I got an idea, and they get the Kraken coming in, and he shoots off the bolt, and was headed towards the Saranai.
Robin saying he knows was
Jim Cotta.
Jim Cotta from the 90s.
That was the 1980s. If you ever saw that bad movie, yeah, Jim Cotta. I mean, the references they do for all the callbacks is what I so much loved about that one. It was really a love letter to all of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s, I think. But you know what? This movie came out in 2017 or so?
Yeah, 2017. Yeah.
So what I also liked about it is all the political correctness kind of went away. There was no real political correctness. It was just a movie to have for fun.
There was like hints of it, but it wasn't a full because they said the Mexican Batman costume was racially insensitive. Can't do that one. But other than that, there wasn't very many. But the woke technology wasn't really a thing in 2017 as bad as it is now.
I mean, it was, but yeah, it wasn't everywhere. Like those people existed, but everybody
wasn't oppressive. You mean
right,
it wasn't
right.
oppressive?
Yeah, it wasn't.
I mean, the closest you got to it was, well, we don't need the Batman as a vigilante anymore. Which, of course, they absolutely need Batman as a vigilante.
But that's a common plot point that basically every Batman story has used.
Yeah, exactly.
Because being a vigilante is actually against the law.
All right,
apparently it wasn't back when Batman was created, but okay.
Well, Batman used to use the Luger and go around the city and shoot bad guys back in the day.
45 ACP.
Well, that was the Detective Comics, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, was it? I thought it was a Luger.
No. Batman fought the Nazis. He wouldn't use
gun is gun.
Welcome to the show, RPG Grandma.
Actually, my favorite scenes. There's a few of my scenes I really enjoyed, but where Barbara was calling him out, it's like, yeah, you fight all these criminals, but they're still out. They're still at large. No one got arrested. Also, the weird. I appreciated this. Actually, going back to them being vigilantes, there's some people that like Ben Affleck as Batman. There's some people that don't. I kind of do because I thought he played a really good older Batman, to my opinion, Bruce Wayne and Batman. But there was a line where he's talking to Alfred in that movie. It's like, we've always been outlaws. That's never changed. In no other Batman movie up until that point has basically called themselves, maybe this one, but it was basically Batman calling himself out as being an outlaw. And I appreciate the line. I really did. But with this one, yeah, they did reference Batman versus Superman. God, that was a dumb movie.
I know what my favorite scene was.
Okay.
It was everything. Let's see if my camera's working.
It won't.
Nope.
Okay.
Everything leading up to where Batman is eating his what lobster?
Lobster.
I've never had that or made it before.
The opulence, the absolute sick opulence of Wayne Manor was just freaking over the top. And they, the fact that they more or less built that, whether they, built it with real Legos or CGI or whatever, I don't care. But just the over the top extent they went to just show that this is how rich Bruce Wayne is, was just awesome. It was just.
I like the fireplace. It reminded me of Citizen Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it was just showing in how lonely Batman was too. That's what I still liked it when he said, "Alfred, what do you know about parenting?" It was.
The other Batman. I'm gonna have to look for that Batman Lego where he's in the smoking jacket. I didn't know there was a Hugh Hefner Batman out there. Jack, Hugh Hefner was a guy who he passed away some years ago, but he was the founder of Playboy, just for point of reference.
Okay, so, okay.
What? No degeneracy remark?
It's
I
like that
think
comes with the
that's what that's
territory. I
saying.
don't have to say anything else there. No.
Yeah.
If or not, Hugh Hefner in his earlier days was a beneficial to the freedom of speech movement.
So was Larry Flint. I'm not saying that they
think
weren't.
I know.
Yeah, so was Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer went in front of Congress twice.
Wait. Let's not forget is at one point Howard Stern used to care about the freedom of speech, and so did a lot
It's
of these
because
others.
they never actually cared about freedom of speech. They lived in a culture where certain ideas that were known really by everyone to be harmful were taboo, and sometimes certain ideas were illegal because everybody understood that making them legal would do tremendous damage to society at large. But because they wanted to make their money off of it, because they were degenerates, they decided we need to have more free speech, and eventually using that libertarian ethos, they managed to trick people into allowing them to do everything that they've now done. And then as soon as they take power, then they undo it so that people can't fight against it.
Well. Here's the problem: is they don't want anyone else to follow behind them when they're complete shills, shown that they're just cowards. That's what it really comes down to. Is
Well,
I
yeah.
agree with I agree with what Grandma said. Flint is now a prude by today's standards, and at least Hugh had limits, which he did. I'm not saying he was a great person, but he had a hard limit, and he did not cross it.
so anyway.
When your limit is that low,
Well,
Is it really a limit?
some of those articles in Playboy were actually really worth reading.
Anyway,
Like,
the point.
there were articles.
articles.
Yes, there were articles. Anyways, back to the Batman Lego movie.
No.
I don't know how much more we can.
Can we go back to the funny movie, please?
Yeah, exactly.
I almost want to say Batman's abs were their own character in this movie.
Well, the ninth one was.
No shit.
No, but about leg day and stuff like that is the very start of the fighting. When they goes through and fights all the different ones, and he pretends to be the mayor.
Who doesn't pay taxes? Batman.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other questions I want to ask? Is it just me, or was this movie incredibly short for what it was?
It was very fast.
It was very fast paced, but wasn't it like an hour and 40 minutes? That's
that's about standard, I guess. I don't know. It just felt like it was.
That means it's a good movie. If it feels like it goes by quicker than it is, the problem I have is when it feels like, you got a 90-minute movie and it feels like it's 2.5 hours long.
That's true.
So
I mean, on certain movies shouldn't go by too fast, but a movie like this, it can go by fast and not be.
This movie had a good pace. I did enjoy the pace of it. I absolutely adored the callbacks to all the other movies throughout the decades. Everything Batman related. I'm actually surprised the Scooby-Doo, the Scooby Gang didn't make a random appearance.
better be careful. Jack might find something in there. But part of the thing I think comes into this is the movie is such a fast, hectic whirlwind. You can watch it over and over and over again and get something new. And that's part of the reason I like these kinds of movies. Same thing with the Blues Brothers or the Monty Python, Holy Grail, because you can get all the little details that are out there. And that's, to me, is what makes it so much fun.
Yeah.
And you can watch it again. It's not one of these movies I once and never watch again.
Very much planning on watching again to catch everything I missed the first time around. Because I'm more than positive there was probably a few things I missed. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm surprised that did any of you guys see the old Scooby-Doo and Batman where they meet up to take on the Joker and the Penguin?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. As soon as it involved Scooby Doo, I just shut it off. I hated that cartoon. I've always hated that cartoon.
Why?
I just hate it. It's like, look, I want action cartoons. I want something. I just hate it. I've always hated.
You didn't
Scooby-Doo.
watch it growing up as a kid?
I tried to not watch it growing up as a kid because I hated it so much.
Really? Because, like, for me, when they started bringing guests like Batman, I would literally watch it just as a kid, just hoping that it was going to be the episode with Batman.
Okay, I didn't like I said. I have never liked Scooby Doo, but that's just me. I much preferred the action cartoons. And
What about Batman versus the Ninja Turtles?
I never saw that one.
That's a more recent one, but
That's
it's
an actual
too.
cartoon?
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Has anybody seen the cartoon of Killing Joke?
I haven't seen that one though. I have access to it. I just haven't watched it.
That was way rougher than the book in a lot of ways, because they made it to me.
I mean, it was true.
Yeah.
It was in a lot of ways it was true to the comic, what they don't really do in cartoons very often.
Yeah, it was very. But I want to say that the Joker actually went over the line with Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't get that from the comic book, which I still have somewhere.
It was implied though.
Well, I suppose I just didn't get that, when I was younger, because I just can't picture them doing that. But in the cartoon, I'm like, holy shit, the Joker now needs to die.
Well, to be fair, the Joker's always needed to die, but yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'm trying to think. So outside the Batman's Road gallery, was there any of the other ones that you really? I mean, I know caught you off surprise. I know what I asked you, which one was the favorite outside of the Joker, but was any of the extra villains? Anyone of them just kind of threw you off? Like, what the fuck are they here?
You mean Voldemort, the Flying Monkeys?
Yeah,
Sauron,
yeah. It's like
Godzilla, King Kong, anything that was outside.
Yeah,
of
King
the
Kong
normal-
was weird because I never pictured King Kong as the villain. You know what I mean? He wasn't evil. What was up with that? That just
He
made
was
no
just
sense.
big monkey.
Yeah.
Well, who was the white monkey?
The white monkey. Was there a white monkey?
There was another one in there.
Oh.
I missed.
I don't know, but like I said, I never. Yeah. Catwoman, Julie Newmar, of course. Eartha Kitt, not so much. She was an awesome woman. She had an incredible career, but she just was so not Catwoman for me. She was so there was absolutely zero chemistry between the two. At least Julie Newmar could fake it, even if it wasn't real.
I
love how he-
enjoyed, for the Batman is I enjoyed the cartoon, in the 90s. I enjoyed the video games for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Those to me were a lot of fun.
Dark Knight Returns, Dark Knight Triumphant, all that. Awesome. Freaking absolutely awesome set of books. I mean, that literally, those books literally just revolutionized and transformed the whole Batman audience, literally, overnight.
Well, and I know Shadow remembers this. Remember the outrage when they had Michael Keaton playing Batman initially?
Oh, I remember. I remember that. I remember him doing the speech with Jack Nicholson behind him, basically saying there was a lot of people saying I shouldn't have the job. He holds up his Emmy, and I guess they were wrong. I remember that was 90.
He was the absolute best Bruce Wayne ever.
I like the Christopher Nolan ones better myself because they were less.
I haven't seen those, so I don't know. But he just brought something to. I mean, because I think it's kind of like that. The fact that Michael Keaton was such a familiar face, and we all could think of a movie that we really enjoyed him in. You know, provided he was just on camera speaking, in a movie role and not running his mouth about other stuff.
I haven't really known him to run his mouth about anything.
Yeah, well, good for you. You're lucky, because once an actor does that, they get on my shit list real quick. But up until that time, when he was playing, being cast, etc., as Batman, he was, there was Mr. Mom, just right off the bat. Everybody knew him from that movie, and everybody loved him from that movie.
Beetlejuice is the one that really was. I just remember that was the big one they were complaining about, because that was the movie that came out before Batman that he was famous for.
Right.
And
but
well, it's also a Tim Burton.
I get
movie.
that, but because of the makeup and stuff, I can see how a lot of people wouldn't be able to put two and two together and get Michael Keaton out of that, and then transferred over to him playing Bruce Wayne / Batman.
I always thought his portrayal of Batman was Bruce Wayne was just weird. I don't know. I enjoy him as an actor. I've seen not everything he's done, but I've seen the majority of his work. I've enjoyed him in a lot of it. At that time, he was probably the right choice. But him as Bruce Wayne, being the Bruce Wayne and Batman.
we'll see. So many people grew up not with the Batman comics, but with the TV show. And then there was just a weird backlash at that time, I remember. But
I mean, I know the original casting that that the director wanted to do. Also, it was also directed by
it was directed by Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, who's a fucking weirdo to begin with.
Yeah, but my point was that when you started looking at it, is there were so many people that were fans of the comics and then fans of the original TV show, and it just seemed that Michael Keaton was the wrong for both, and that's what part of the complaint was coming from. And then after they saw it, they're like, "Oh, this is awesome." And to be fair, it was a much darker Batman than had been portrayed.
Oh yeah, I mean,
before
Michael Keaton, when they were doing the third movie, he said that they were talking about making it more colorful, more adding shit to it that did not need to be doing it. And that's when he had the good common sense to say, "Nope, I'm out."
Well, that and the costume. That was his big complaint, was the costume was just so uncomfortable.
I mean, the most recent Batman.
And then they changed the costume after they got rid of him.
The most recent Batman, I think, has had the best Batman suit as of yet. Robert Pattinson's Batman Year One.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to. I mean, now we're comparing all the Batman, but
we're talking it's Batman. This was bound to happen.
Actually, I mean, to be honest, I like the Tim Burton ones, and then I like the ones where Christopher Nolan was then Christopher Nolan, which was the three there, and then I actually like the new one that they just came out with, which was the Robert Pattinson. I didn't enjoy so much the Justice League. Which I mean, the Justice League, the 4-hour version was better.
Oh,
the Zack Snyder.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't like the Batman versus Superman. That just was.
That's what happens when the studio gets involved.
Well, I think sometimes it's not that I mind that sometimes the studio gets involved. It's the problem is that a lot of the studio execs don't love the original material, and that's probably the problem I have with some of these.
I agree. I don't think we're going to get 2 hours out of this movie because we basically.
We didn't ask least favorite.
Least favorite what? Least favorite person?
Character.
All right. Who's your least favorite person, Shadow?
Oh, it's got to be Robin. I mean, that was just.
I get that. I don't know if he was my least favorite.
Robin has always been, no matter which Robin character you pick, he always had an edge of his own.
Yeah.
Just there's something, just as dark, just waiting to come out. Even in the Teen Titans cartoon, holy crap, was Robin dark.
Young Justice. Yeah, no, you're right. I don't like. Well, I didn't like the. I like the original Teen Titans cartoon over the stupid one they came out with a few years later. But yeah, you're right. Robin. I didn't like the way they portrayed Robin, so I get that. What about you, Jack?
I don't have one. I've been thinking. I don't have one. I can't think of any.
Wow. I will say this much: I didn't like the Phantom Zone brick.
Oh yeah, the brick.
You didn't like Phyllis?
Yes. No, I did not. I did not.
That's
That
fair.
was the
That's fair. Yeah, that would be my second choice as well. Like you're gonna pull something over. You're gonna, convince. The case was made. Batman's not a good guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a criminal.
I didn't mind.
Love Batman, but he's a freaking criminal. People say, "Oh, the Punisher." Punisher ain't got shit on Batman. Batman's damn near the kingpin of crime, going out there trying to eliminate all of his competition. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong.
I mean, you are technically wrong, but you're not. But you also aren't.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Actually, it didn't bother me because it was a Lego movie, and of course, it being a Lego movie, the all-powerful, all-knowing brick kind of makes sense.
Well, no. I mean, sometimes just because of how ridiculous the movie is, the brick made sense from that aspect.
Yeah,
But I just didn't like her voice that much.
Oh,
I
I get it. I didn't like the Joker. And
don't blame you.
I love the Joker. I have loved almost every variation of the Joker out there. There's been a few that I not care for, and this one is like maybe third on my list with the weird, hateful, homosexual relationship that he wants to have with Batman.
Yeah, Joker's definitely. This Joker was just.
I mean,
the whole thing. I mean, they damn near kissed at the end of the movie. I mean.
Yeah. Actually, if they would have kissed, I think I would have canceled today's show. I get you.
I would have actually.
I literally would have.
I
I would have flushed that dollar down the drain and just thrown it in the trash.
Hold it. I can say this much. Connell is completely wrong about the character he hated the most. The character he hated the most were snake clowns.
That didn't bother me much.
No. I'm just laughing because you said the two things that you hate are snakes and clowns.
Oh, I don't like clowns. Don't get me wrong. I don't like clowns, and I have a phobia against snakes.
Yes.
But at least at the end of the show, when they hit the snake clowns,
Yeah.
kind of remind me of Beetlejuice, the sandworms.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't bother me that much. It was just, I get in the comic books, if there was no Joker didn't make Batman by any stretch of the imagination, but when you're making a Batman movie or comic book, those they're yin and yang of each other. I mean, they do. There would be no.
No. There would be no Joker without the Batman, but somebody else made Batman.
I didn't say that. Yeah, that was Frost, Jack.
Okay. I'm going to bring up one thing that's not for this particular movie,
Nips.
but of all of the villains for Batman, who is your favorite? And if anywhere.
Naturally, I would go with the Joker. The Joker's always been Joker and Ra's al Ghul. Were always
Ra's al Ghul. I like Ra's al Ghul.
Have always been my favorites.
Yeah, wow, that's a good one.
I'll tell you who I always loved, especially when they did the revised version of him, was the Mr. Freeze.
Not Arnie's, but
I'm talking about the one that you have in the comic, and they actually took it over. They rewrote that after.
Hey, what's up,
they did that.
Justin?
Hello, Justin. I'm just gonna say something about Mr. Freeze. I have a certain picture of Mr. Freeze from an actual DC Batman comic book that will forever make Mr. Freeze the objectively best character ever written in any thing ever, and I hate it.
he's technically immortal.
Well, I like Mr. Freeze because I like the voice that they used for Mr. Freeze in the cartoon. I liked on what they did in the, where he actually has motivation, so he's not completely evil. Like most of them are irredeemable.
I've never found Mr. Freeze to be an outright bad guy, because everything he ever did was trying to get money for research to save his wife.
Right, but it makes him sympathetic, but he's still a criminal, and that's why I liked him. Is because it makes him
the animated series, Mr. Freeze was the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some bad ones. Like, thank God, Robin, I'm wearing my thermal underwear with the Adam West Batman versus Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze. Please shoot me. Then you had the Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. Once again, that's
the worst Mr. Freeze ever.
Please shoot me now. That's a double tap in the head. But the cartoon ones were pretty good. Even Gotham, the weird where Batman was still a kid, Gotham TV series that was on Fox there for a couple of years. That Mr. Freeze wasn't that bad.
I'm sorry. Whenever Mr. Freeze comes up, I can't like him for two reasons. One, the panel that I will maybe show you, and two, he reminds me of Richard Nixon.
I remember not a crook.
My favorite Batman villain. That's an easy pick. It will always be Catwoman.
Before or after they get married.
I never saw them get married, but okay.
Remember, he hasn't watched the Christopher Nolan stuff, so
no. In the comic, well, they almost got really close to getting married in the comic books.
Because from my understanding, she actually died in the comic books.
No one stays dead in the comic books.
No one dies in the freaking comic books.
I actually have the.
That's not true. There are a couple people stay dead in the comic books. Uncle Ben.
Yeah, and people only.
Uncle Ben is from Spider-Man.
I say comic books in general.
Okay.
Uncle Ben. I don't think.
Okay, Bruce Wayne's parents and Uncle Ben. Nobody else dies. Maybe people die, obviously, but no main characters or main villains ever die.
But what about Spider-Man?
Okay, fair. Well, I guess that
You
counts.
mean with Aunt May, the most recent one, No Way From Home?
Die. He was murdered by Marvel Comics.
Oh,
he was not.
Wait a minute. Didn't they murder all of the heroes?
I don't know. You have this weird hate on for the new Spider-Man. I think No Way Home was an amazing Spider-Man movie.
I thought it was too, to be honest.
It was. It was the last good Marvel movie.
It wasn't Disney Spider-Man. It was Sony Spider-Man.
Well, Sony owns Spider-Man.
No, they don't. Disney owns Spider-Man, and
Since when?
And it's licensed to Sony to make the movies.
Sony's owned Spider-Man.
No, it is. They are licensing it from Disney.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. They've made all of the Spider-Man movies.
I can't wait for the next Venom movie. I'll be the bad guy. I love the Venom movies.
They were okay.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
Oh yeah, the second one is amazing.
That is great because I know everyone hated the first one and also loved it at the same time. I only liked it. It was the greatest movie seen at the time.
Tom Hardy, like it or not, Tom Hardy plays the best Eddie Brock for a Venom.
It depends what you want out of an Eddie Brock. It really depends what you want out of Eddie Brock. If you want the more vigilante type anti-hero Venom, then yes. But if you want an opposite to Peter Parker, Spider-Man 3 Venom is the best thing to ever happen.
I mean,
Spider-Man 3 is the greatest movie ever made.
I think that guy's acting career needs to come back because he was almost the only person from that 70s show to call Danny Masters out for being the monster he is.
I don't know.
Don't worry about it. If you know, you know. If you don't worry about it. Fucking 30 years to life for being. Anyways, Sorry. But no, Batman. They had a gentleman ghost in this movie. You know when was the last time I even thought or even seen a gentleman ghost in the Batman?
You know that. Well, you know, I've loved so many of the, like I said, this just everything in there, and I still like the line from the Joker. You know what this means? Batman lives in Bruce Wayne's basement. You know.
Yeah, not going to be able to take that back, walk that back anytime soon.
I mean, it's more accurate to say that.
Wait. So does that mean Bruce Wayne and Batman are as a gay couple that's raising Dick? Because he has two daddies now.
That's not. No, that's not what that means.
That's kind of what was that's what's the line.
Yes, that was the joke. Obviously.
Why will they say
You can't-
Dick Grayson instead of Rick? I don't know. You know, that was. But then again, let's be honest. Wonder Woman and her whole things with chains. If you actually listen to him, that was the whole thing of getting it past the censors for bondage and etc. So.
Oh yeah, the creator of Wonder Woman, his wife and their mistress were freaks.
Yeah, they were gay. I'll just put it that way.
Well, I don't think he was, but
Well,
Anyway, I mean, but there's been a lot of stuff like that. I will just say this much. I love this movie. It's enjoyable. I can watch it with my son. I can watch it with little kids.
I'll
watch it with
end up watching this again. I know I'll watch this again. Maybe not not right away, but I'll definitely want to watch this again to get all the different Easter eggs. Because I do. The fact that this movie and the people who are making this movie are willing to make fun of themselves.
But they also love the material. You can tell when someone makes fun of things and still loves the material.
I mean, honestly, the biggest villain in this movie was Batman.
yeah, that's what he said.
If you're a family.
Couldn't even say sorry. What was he, the Fonz?
Yeah. I mean,
I was just thinking about
stand moment.
He can't apologize sex. His organs will shut down. If any of you ever watched Metalocalypse, when Nathan Explosion and Pickles are fighting and he has to apologize.
As much as I don't like the Flash movie that just came out, there was a scene with Batman where Batman and Batman somehow and the Flash were touching Wonder Woman's rope, the rope where it's a prelude to make truth. And he's like, I would say thanks, but my ego is too, strong for me to do so. I mean, that was probably the best line from the Flash movie.
I haven't seen it, but I refuse to watch it.
Just don't. The only reason why I saw the Flash movie was because Michael Keaton was coming back to play Batman. That's what got my ass in the seat. And Shadow's right. If you grew up in the 80s, 90s, Michael Keaton is Batman. A lot of the Easter eggs to this movie were definitely meant for people of the Easter eggs were definitely meant for the adults who went to go see it.
They are, but
I think not just the adults, but anybody. If you're a fan of Batman, all these years, whatever, then you're going to show all this stuff to your youngsters. You're going to say, hey, son, daughter, we're going to watch a Batman movie, and they're like, oh, the new one. You're like, no. The one of the oldest or the oldest, and share that experience with them, and then they're going to be like, oh wow, this is actually really good. Like when we watched Batman 2, I'm certain that if I said, hey Jack, we're going to watch the first Batman movie, Michael Keaton, he'd be like, all right.
No, Danny DeVito's not in it. They're fun.
Wait a minute, did we watch that one? That was Danny.
We watched Batman Returns. We didn't watch the original Batman, or not the original. We did not watch the first Batman as of yet, which would be considered sci-fi for next year. Yeah, Batman would be considered sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. I guess.
But There's a lot of movies out there would be, as long as they don't have magic in them and technology, or there's some kind of.
Whoa. Rewind. So
That would
So
make
you-
Star Wars not sci-fi, which it very clearly
It has space magic.
oh, okay, what about Doctor Strange?
That's not sci-fi. That's magic.
That's in a sci-fi universe.
Well, I never said it was.
As I said before, if we have starships, we're counting it as sci-fi. Okay.
If it has robots that aren't made from magic, like golems do not count as robots.
I guess I can.
And if they have
I
spaceships,
could quote Iron Man by saying magic is just science that we don't.
That's
understand.
Isaac Asimov that said that. not
That's
Iron-
freaking retarded.
Yeah. But no, I don't. disagree
That's
with
saying
some-
that God needs a starship.
I'm just
Why?
saying-
He might need a star.
God is magic. God is magical.
That is heresy.
God
No.
makes the rules, and science is the rules
That
we have
is-
to play by.
depending on your definition of magic, that is either just like a fact or complete and utter blasphemy. So you need to define your terms.
Everything that God does is magical.
Heresy.
What is your definition of the fact that I'm agreeing with Connell about religious matters to tell you a lot? Define magic and then we can talk. Because for basically all of human history, magic basically equals witchcraft. And
God's power is something that only God can wield, and there's no other way to describe it.
Technically, that's not true. Jesus wielded some of God's power
Jesus
there.
is God. Understand the Trinity. Jesus is God.
Holy
Yeah.
Spirit.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit is also God.
So
Anyways,
here's
we'll
the
be back to this
definition: if
topic
it has
in
robots,
April.
or it has spaceships, we're counting as sci-fi. Okay.
All right. Well, then I definitely know what my first sci-fi movie pick is going to be.
Okay.
I also know what my first sci-fi movie pick is going to be, and it's not the greatest sci-fi movie ever made. It's the third greatest sci-fi movie ever
Did you
made.
find it at the dollar store?
It's Battle Beyond the Stars, Noah.
I didn't find it at the dollar store, but maybe I'll look at the dollar store for a better one.
Out of curiosity,
You
what
guys,
is
you
it?
guys, you guys better be careful, or I will pick Metropolis.
I don't even know if I could find a copy of that.
I've never seen it, but I'll watch it.
Sci-fi, might as well go with the oldest.
No, I've seen it once years ago in a class. A class.
It's a hard watch. I'll be nice.
Yeah.
It's really on what do you want to watch. Hey, look, we talk about guilty pleasures. Let's not forget, Battle of the Stars, which was basically the Magnificent Seven in space.
I mean, Howard Duck was sci-fi.
It was sci-fi-ish. Oh, yeah.
There was no magic. It was all science.
Well, wait a minute. Again,
Sci-fi.
it has to have robots or spaceships. That's our requirement.
It brought him from another planet.
We can make an exception if there's no robots or spaceships, but very like Rollerball isn't doesn't have.
It's in the
robots.
future. It's a sci-fi if it's in the future.
It's got a ray gun.
Oh, it does. Okay, yeah, then yeah.
So Harry Potter's now sci-fi because he has a Ray wand.
It's not the same thing. That's a stick. Not a
I
gun.
know. I'm not Catholic.
Next thing we know,
I'm
you
going to think that we have to put up. I'm
I'm
going to have to think that we have the ability to veto. If 3 or more people disagree with the movie, we can veto it.
No vetoing because it turnabout's fair play.
That's what I'm saying. Is I don't want to have to be suffering through like 6 bad movies because we all.
All right. So I don't know what the next pick is. Mine's going to be a Christmas surprise.
Isn't it obvious?
Star Wars. I Lost My Daddy.
Hey, look, I'm all for watching Empire Strikes Back and not watching the other ones, just because.
Oh no! Why would I show you the? Why would I show you the second best Star Wars movie? I can show you the best.
The Christmas special.
Yes. No. I'm not that bad.
I will set the show up and I'll be absent that day.
I'm not showing you the Christmas special. I can assure you of that.
No, hold it. The point is not to make people suffer. The point is to get people to enjoy sci-fi movies again, so we can get more people to play sci-fi games.
This sci-fi movie is definitely from my childhood. It's It is definitely from my childhood. Made me interesting. It has spaceships. Well, does it have spaceships? It has flying ships.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not picking mine to make you suffer. I genuinely think it's good.
Had lizard people. It has furry people.
Wait,
Enemy Mine.
would Spider-Man 3 count as sci-fi?
Yes.
Which one?
All the Spider-Man movies will technically count as sci-fi.
You know,
Okay,
Enemy
all
Mine
Iron
does.
Man movies.
Well,
I'm going to bring this up. District 9 would, because we have a spaceship there.
right.
And so does Alien Nation.
Yep.
Because we have
Actually, the
spaceship.
first sci-fi movie I ever saw was Aliens. The
Oh,
first,
did you hear about the new Napoleon movie they're making?
yeah, with Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
Walking Phoenix.
It might be good.
I hope it's good, but I'm skeptical. The guy who
Oh,
made it.
He doesn't do bad movies.
I mean, yeah, but wasn't what was that movie?
But he's a bad person.
What was that one called?
All bad people depends on how you look at it. Everybody's a bad person. Depends on how you look at it.
It's not just I mean, yeah, by very definition, every human being who's ever lived, except for like Jesus and Mary, were bad people.
I'm
So
going to try avoiding the religious aspect here. Yeah,
Well,
I'm not gonna make you all watch
the religious aspect, we need to dial that.
I mean, all I'm saying was that Jesus was good, and that basically every other person is basically not that good.
Justin, I
I'm not
believe
including
Justin.
Prometheus in this, so. No, you're just bad, Justin. You're not a bad person. You're just.
I actually was
Are you
thinking,
saying
how are we
Justin's
going to do
not a
eight?
fan? 'Cause, I mean,
What's that?
until I see him live on camera, he could be
He
three
could be a
scores.
robot, yeah. He could be.
three scores.
I mean,
And
we
it's
know
like-
that the Germans were working on interesting things. Maybe he's one of them. Maybe he's one of them.
Well, that would explain his support of them.
Yeah, show. There was I don't think it was a show like TV show, but it was definitely a show where Hitler came back, and it was like the 90s or early 2000s, and he was, oh god, it's bad.
Was it a British show when he had
Yeah.
Jewish neighbors?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hi Honey, I'm Home was a show that lasted for one episode.
Oh god, it was so bad.
I saw that the potential of that is so great. The potential for a show about Hitler living in like the UK or Argentina or whatever.
There goes
With
all my
Jewish neighbors?
Jewish fans.
We don't
Me
even
and
have
Chad
to do
were, like,
that.
Closest things there are, and that's
we
like
don't have to do that.
doesn't even count.
Just look at the current EU leadership, and it's a comedy writing itself. The problem is that we're part of it.
I was actually thinking about sci-fi because there's certain shows out there. If we just watch the pilot, if you picked an episode from a pilot sci-fi show, I think that'd be worth it. Like Firefly, I think that is a
Red
great.
Dwarf, first pick.
What?
Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf, the pilot, Red Dwarf, pilot of Firefly, pilot of whatever, Star Trek. Star Trek Next Generation. Those are all in my point of view, those are all acceptable because they are at heart sci-fi.
Like
Well,
I
yeah.
said, if it has spaceships and or robots, we can accept it. Though I guess technically, if you want to do it, you can include things like Johnny Mnemonic or something.
What about wormholes?
Well, don't they
Well,
have
yeah,
spaceships to get into a wormhole?
Not necessarily.
Like something like sliders.
Most of the time, yeah, but it's not necessary. It's like a portal.
I'm thinking like Sliders would be a great one.
Would The Scientist be a sci-fi movie?
No.
Oh. Xenophobia would be though, right?
Yeah, but we already covered that movie.
Oh, I'm not saying that, but for basis
Well,
of other
because
movies.
the sequel will be out soon enough.
I hope so. I hope so.
And it's going to be one of those shows where I'm just going to set up the show, invite you all to be in there, and I'm just going to be absent that day.
Why? The Scientist, not The Scientist. The Scientist was actually a really, really bad movie. I don't understand everybody's hate for Xenophobia.
Ooh.
It was a
The Night of the Living Dead would technically be a sci-fi movie too.
I feel like
The new one from the 90s, not the old 60s, 70s one.
No.
And so would be The Blob. Oh God, what was that movie?
Well, technically, so would it, but that's not a.
It's weird. It is a sci-fi movie because he is an interdimensional species.
Oh,
I think you can kind of. No, I don't.
Critters.
Here's the thing.
Critters.
I think. No.
Critters.
Here's my definition for sci-fi. Sci-fi isn't like the genre or whatever. It's sci-fi is the setting, and if sci-fi is almost always in the future, but it doesn't have to be, and the technology has to be better than ours, or at least better than the time it was made.
Right. That's one of the
Yeah,
criteria.
your dad was going
Yeah.
on that thought process. And as a whole, I don't have a problem with that, but it kind of cuts out a lot of different movies and stuff.
Not
like
every movie.
It doesn't cut out. It expands it so much that at the point that it almost becomes meaningless. And I know that Shadow would like more people do sci-fi, which kind of like, let's go for the stuff that people actually view as sci-fi.
Yeah,
I don't-
saying things like it is sci-fi just because it kind of maybe on a technicality could be sci-fi. I don't think we should be describing it that way. Which
I
is why
agree
I
with
don't,
you there, Jack.
I
do
don't
agree
think
with
we
you.
should say
It's
even
not
if
a fantasy.
It was meant to be a horror. As
it was
its
meant to be a
primary
horror that
genre.
takes place in like modern day, basically.
No,
Maybe
no,
a little
I-
bit in the past, but like
I agree with you, but the whole point is let's not try. I'm trying to narrow it down enough that we don't get everything in there just because it's happening in the future by 10 years. That's
Oh,
So
yeah.
what about
And maybe
Aliens
it's not in
versus
the future
Predator?
and not be sci-fi. But most of the time, if it's in the future, it's sci-fi, but not because it's in the future.
Okay, hold on. What about Aliens versus Predator? It has spaceships, it has aliens, but it was in modern time.
it. Would
Yeah,
I would
it's
count that
absolutely
one
sci-fi.
because
Yeah,
it has
I mean,
spaceships. Again, that's what I'm trying to say. By putting spaceships in there or robots, you're really narrowing. You're getting it towards what people consider more of classic sci-fi. And I agree with the. The problem I have with the Aliens versus Predator is if you actually look at the storylines, those were supposed to happen like 50 years in the future. They weren't supposed to be happening now.
Yeah.
That's the problem I have with the movies.
Different from that movie. I'm just saying as a sci-fi, it's a sci-fi horror, but it's still sci-fi.
I don't think we should. I think the way we should decide this is actually pretty simple. If someone says, "Hey, can I do this movie?" I think it's sci-fi. If it's like most movies that you would say are sci-fi, it's obvious. You don't really need to fit them into a specific box of it needs this, cut out this. Most movies that we would probably consider are almost they're sci-fi. If we're considering them for this, they're probably sci-fi. But
no, I mean,
brings
we're
movie to the
talking
table.
about The Thing, which again, The Thing I would consider sci-fi. But what does it have? A spaceship.
Well, his spaceship
yeah.
crashed into Earth a billion years ago, or whatever the time what they gave to it. But yeah, I don't disagree with you.
No, I'm not saying that it only has to have this, but
Right.
it's trying to.
Oh yeah,
it's trying-
it's a sci-fi horror.
What about okay?
try
What
and
about
narrow it down a bit, just so we can say instead of just throwing. Because like I said, I put up Mad Max. Like, well, you know what? That's post-apocalyptic. I don't think that we should have that as sci-fi.
Yeah,
Well,
post-apocalyptic
Well, here's a better
Is-
question.
different.
Here's a better question for you guys that'll kind of solve the issue. Is anybody going to actually pick that as their pick?
it?
No, any movie that comes in question, right? If someone picks a movie, right, regardless of the movie, are we going to say and veto it and say it's not sci-fi because someone picks a movie, or are we going to let them, state their case by having us watch it?
I'd say state their case.
Well, see, I don't want to have to watch a movie that I could spend actually watching a sci-fi. That's what I'm trying to say.
We all have our definition. There's a very hard line definition for sci-fi. Then there is the pseudo sci-fi out there.
Right.
Well,
I
the
was-
way
There's things that are very obviously sci-fi, and then it's like a very thin gradient into borderline, and then another
Well, like I was saying,
gradient from that to obviously not sci-fi.
right?
Like, is Timeline a sci-fi movie?
Yes, they go back in the future. Back
It
in
would, but I wouldn't say that's because that's.
But
not
yeah, you shouldn't
yeah.
pick that for your sci-fi. Obviously, you already picked it, but my point is,
Right.
you
So
wouldn't pick that because it is mostly set in the past in
well,
medieval.
Back
and
to
all
the
that stuff.
Future.
I would consider that because Back to the Future too.
Yeah.
Either way, Back to the Future, it's all about time traveling, or Back to the Future 3, where it's in the Old West. Which
because now we're starting throwing. I mean, come on, let's look at this and say, okay, where is it primarily set? Which is where I'm going with.
What about Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah, well, I would consider that because it has spaceships. That's why I'm trying to narrow it down. It's like if it
I
has
honestly
robots and
think the
spaceship,
spaceship,
I'm okay with it.
robots, and like if there's other miscellaneous high technological thing is actually a pretty good definition.
What about Runaway?
I know. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to prevent stuff that's going out where it just feels like it's not.
Runaway, is that the one with Tom Selleck
and Gene Simmons? Absolutely.
Yep. I've seen that movie not that long ago, actually.
Is that the one with Kirstie Alley?
Yes.
Okay, I'm familiar with that. I would consider
It's
that
like
sci-fi.
I don't know, like 50 years in the future,
Who did
and
Kirstie Alley play in that movie? In
Yeah.
Runaway?
She was a love interest.
No.
she was the bad guy.
Was she?
She wasn't the bad guy, but she was a bad guy.
Yeah, okay, because I know she wasn't the love interest because the love interest was a blonde.
Was the
And-
other top? Yeah. Well,
Not that I would pick it, but what my point was is, each of us has roughly close to 10 picks over the course of the next year.
I think Easter is going to be interesting. We're either just going to have to bypass all things Easter religious relating because I don't know that many sci-fi movies that even come close to that.
Hey, here's the thing:
What is
Runaway
everything
has
about
robots. Let's not forget, Runaway has robots. So that's that. The real reason I'm putting robots in starships is it gives an idea of what's there. It's
Christmas
not that it
out.
doesn't. So it's
I
more to
I
give an
think it's
idea.
kind of dumb to argue over definitions. I mean, yeah, I feel like just intrinsically there are some things you know that you don't really have to define everything. I don't think any of us are gonna come out here and be like, okay, here's my movie. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. It's like,
Here's my movie. We're going to watch. I'm being sarcastic, but I'm going along with you, Jack. My pick this month is Lord of the Rings. It's not sci-fi. I know.
yeah, no one. I don't think any of us are gonna like do something like that, and you can like make an argument. Well, actually, the magic could be argued to be like, no, it's not sci-fi. It's obvious. We can all generally agree on that.
Hey, Jack, we're living in a time where people are changing definitions all the time and deciding.
And why would we abide by their standards?
Men. No, you're trying to say by common sense. This is what I'm trying to say. Generally, if it has robots or spaceships, it's sci-fi. That's all I'm saying.
That's how they were able to get Ninja Turtles, the cartoon in the 80s, to pass censors. All the Foot Clans had to be robots.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I know. That's the.
Oh shit! There's Ninja Turtles.
No.
It would be, but at a certain point, this is why I said is if if we can get 4 out of 6 people to disagree that it's a sci-fi, then that's what.
Okay, well, if that's the case, I want to know about the 1980s Masters of the Universe. It has robots. It has ships.
Well, you know what? You made your case. I can't argue.
Is SpongeBob sci-fi?
What?
Is SpongeBob sci-fi?
SpongeBob sci-fi?
No.
It has a bunch of robots.
I don't know. I've never watched SpongeBob.
Okay,
No.
It has a lot of the main villain of SpongeBob. All he does is make weird technological stuff and make robots.
Well, wouldn't Sonic fit in that thing too?
Sonic.
Yes. Okay. So is Sonic sci-fi? That's once you start getting into like fighting over definitions like this, SpongeBob is sci-fi. Though, if you actually look into the SpongeBob lore, SpongeBob is actually about a robot.
Are we gonna be watching Bikini Bottom? No. Stop, Jack. Are we gonna be watching Bikini Bottom?
Yeah, that's where SpongeBob is based in. Is where they dropped the first nuclear bombs.
That theory is untrue for so many reasons, but I don't want to explain SpongeBob.
No. My point being is, because our first real test one was somewhere else. But
no, not the first one, but they.
No. The point being is, you can make your case for it. Is my point.
Is anybody going to pick something like that? That is kind of.
I don't know. I don't trust Connell on this, and I don't trust you.
To be completely honest, to be completely honest, on Livewire, where chat's watching, the first movie I was honestly going to pick was Masters of the Universe. I consider that to be a sci-fi movie.
Well, you made your argument that it has robots, and so I can't argue with that. And technically, is Kroll a sci-fi movie because it has? I'm not sure.
Space travel in the future. Yeah,
I know.
Well, a weird one.
It was, but if you can make your case for it, then I'm like, all right, I'll eat my hat and say yes.
Hey, I'm only picking classics, so
yeah, well, me too. Well, I'm putting up a list here. If you want to put,
because your generation, I think it really just depends on your generation. I mean, Masters of the Universe was a classic, in my opinion, a classic '80s sci-fi movie for what it was. But
I'm talking universally considered classic.
You can't. That's really hard to do with movies.
What's up, Al?
All I'm doing is I'm putting up a list of the various movies people have mentioned, and I'm just keep on adding. And
Doctor Who would be sci. Doctor Who's right there with Star Trek and that's sci-fi, but there's
I have Star Trek Wrath of Khan down here.
Yeah, Doctor Who is obviously a sci-fi.
Sci-fi, yeah.
You just have to tell me which Doctor Who movie.
Actually, it'd be an episode with Tom Baker because that's the only Doctor.
Not an episode.
Five Doctors would be the Five Doctors is an absolute perfect Doctor Who movie. If you're going to look for a Doctor Who movie, the Five Doctors, unless there's like the Seven Doctors or some crap like that, it was really good and had everybody in it except I think Tom Baker.
Fucking Tom Baker is my favorite. I'm sorry, Tom Baker is my favorite.
I'm not disagreeing with it. Like I said, if you can make a good case, I'll vote. Yeah, I'll let it through.
Okay, I think
timeline. I would say no, but if you're gonna say like Master of the Universe, well, you got me on that one. So yeah.
I mean, it's even like the way that was. I was watching the history of it, of He-Man. I was watching, and it was it's the perfect marriage between sci-fi and fantasy. I'm like, okay. And then I watched the movie here recently. I'm like, no, this is like 80% sci-fi, 90% sci-fi with a 10% magical twist. That,
Look.
You can have magic in a sci-fi setting.
Yeah, you're allowed to have that. Any psionics would fit in there, which might put down Dread. Dread's another one that it doesn't have robots in it.
Oh, but it's I'll give you Dread. I won't give you Dread, but I agree with Dread because it's a utopian future with technology that's beyond the technology that we have now.
So that's one of those that would be like, does this count or not? That's
I would say so.
Well, that's one of those that I really love about, but that has psionics in it.
Godzilla.
Ooh, which version?
Some of them, yes.
Godzilla's the most recent Godzilla versus King Kong.
I would like to watch. I haven't watched that.
Oh, you know what? It's got a robot in it. I gotta give it.
Has a robot in it?
Yeah. Cyber.
Isn't it Mechagodzilla?
What one?
Mechagodzilla's in.
It has Mechagodzilla in it, so I've got to give it. Well, here's the point that really comes down to it: is if you're going to try selecting the movie, then that's fine. The question is: are you trying to subvert the idea of a year of sci-fi, or are you trying to say, "Hey guys, I really love this movie. I think that we should all watch it because it'd be great for having a sci-fi film."
I will. This year, last year, or when I normally pick the movies, it goes there. Okay, do I like this movie? Yes. Do I think the other guys will like it? I don't know. Do I want them to watch it to see why I like it? Yes. This year, it breaks down as, do I like this movie? Yes. Is it sci-fi? Yes. Does it meet the regulations that we're putting down for a sci-fi movie? Yes. That's how I'm going to be picking these year's movies.
Well, that's the way I feel about it too. It's just like, look, I know that Batman would technically be considered in some cases sci-fi, but to me that's more of a superhero, and so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to leave that off the side, even though I know it fits a lot of the definition.
Superheroes are just weird because at one sense you have Batman or Iron Man are very much sci-fi tech, then you have Constantine or
Constantine is well. I mean, I've watched read some of the original book. That's just modern day.
Right. I'm just saying Constantine versus Doctor Strange, which are it is a really weird.
Okay, so just to give you a list, this is what I have so far, and I'm just adding as people say it. I have Event Horizon, Aliens, Ready Player One, Lawnmower Man, Flash Gordon, Doctor Who: The Five Doctors, War of the Worlds, Outland, Saturn V, The Thing, Serenity, Stargate, Star Trek: Wrath of Khan, The Watchmen, Dark City, Equilibrium, Terminator, RoboCop, Soylent Green, I don't remember Silent Running, but I assume Enemy Mine, Predator, 1 and 2, Annihilation, Pitch Black, The Fifth Element, Total Recall, the original Arnold version because the newer ones really suck. The Black Hole, Galaxy Quest, District 9, Alien Nation, Dune, Critters, Battle Beyond the Stars, Runaway, Master of the Universe, Dread, and Kong vs. Godzilla. And I'm just throwing this up there so you guys can be like, well, I want to watch that. Like, hey, let me throw some more up there just to give an idea of all of the different movies that we have up there. I don't even say that we have to watch all. What's that?
Did you actually put Critters on that list?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not suggesting this as a movie just for a verification. Is Tremors a sci-fi movie?
I don't know. I've only seen the first like three or so of.
I'm just talking about the first one. I'm not talking about the other ones.
I don't think I would consider that. I would consider that, I wouldn't consider Tremors the first one that way.
So some monster movies are sci-fi, but not all monster movies are sci-fi.
Right.
Jaws is not sci-fi. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, and you know what? I need to put Cowboys versus Aliens.
Scanners.
Oh, you know what? That's a good one. See, I'm just putting a list up down here as we're just brainstorming and people are bringing things up. I'm like, okay, I'll just put, and it gives us an idea of what's up there. Or like, oh no, what about this movie? Like, you guys can say whatever you want. This is
weirdly enough, the most recent Chucky movie, the reboot of the Chucky movies, would be a sci-fi because it wasn't somebody putting his soul into a doll. The doll is an AI that just went bad.
Oh, you mean like Megan?
Yeah.
That's up to you guys if you want to throw that in there. I'm just
Young Frankenstein.
I
guess that would count.
Wasn't Frankenstein considered Frankenstein considered one of the earlier sci-fi books out there?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know what's the not that I mean, there's some movies that are just kind of cool. Most of it is, are these movies I'd want to watch, or are these movies that I haven't seen that sound kind of cool, or are they just bad movies because they'll make you all suffer?
I was talking to my daughter about this, and she told me I should add what was that? It was Jurassic Park because of the cloning.
I wouldn't disagree with Jurassic Park, but I don't know how everyone else feels about it.
I'm not saying we should. That was just one she threw in there. I'm like talking to her. I'm like, yeah, Jurassic Park would work because of the cloning.
Well, especially when they start making the new monsters and the later ones.
Oh God, that's just horrifying. Spaceballs.
Oh, so
why don't we watch
Did I not put
Spaceballs?
Spaceballs on here? I need to put Spaceballs on here too.
We need to watch Spaceballs.
I'm surprised we haven't already.
I haven't seen that movie, and I really want to watch it. And I also like to talk about it.
Okay, Spaceballs is on the list. Look, we have comedies all in here, so it's not that it bothers.
No, I disagree that he wants to watch Spaceballs. He'll be bitching about it for like 2 weeks.
Oh wait a minute. So we have Spaceballs. What's the other one that we have? The Last Starfighter.
The Last Starfighter is good. I don't know how I'm going to watch that one, but I'll fucking find a way.
Wait, why would I not like Spaceballs?
Oh, you'll find out.
No. You love Spaceballs. The point is, he's saying you're going to be bitching that you can't watch it for a few weeks. No.
Yeah, we'll go with that for right now. Did you know, this got pointed out to me, that the 1990s Mortal Kombat and Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon is the same movie?
I wouldn't doubt that. Well, so is the what is the other one that they have with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
God.
What is it? Is it Time Cop? Do we not forget that one? Does that count?
Yeah, because it's based in the future. Time Cop. All
I was just asking. It's not
right, so we're getting about that time. Who's up next? Isn't it Mark or Bose?
It's Bose, and it is Big Trouble in Little China.
Woohoo! Well, I will make sure Bruce knows because he loves that movie.
I've watched it, and then I watched the extended scenes, the deleted scenes. And...
Oh, I was joking with him this past Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. He's like, there was no sequel to Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. I'm like, yeah, there was. It's like, what? Tremors.
It's the one of the few things in there, which reminds me. Actually, I just saw that Amazon has D&D No Honor Among Thieves.
It's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Either. Yeah, it's fine.
Chadwood utterly despises that movie.
Your dad despises a lot of movies.
I don't know. I haven't seen
Yeah.
it, so I can't make an opinion. I can say this much. I wasn't paying money to go see it.
What movie?
D&D, Thieves Amongst Us.
Among Us?
Oh yeah, no, I won't be watching that one.
That's fine. You don't have to watch it. People that enjoy movies, because you don't enjoy movies, will watch it.
Actually, Shadow actually seemed to enjoy this movie, which he didn't about all the other ones I've been playing.
I'm surprised you weren't complaining about. I'm surprised you didn't go the whole time complaining about how awful this movie was because of the gay the potential
undertones.
gay undertones of the Joker that were obviously intentional but also obviously a joke.
The movie was hysterical. I laughed my ass off.
Well, I'm glad that we got.
I'm also glad.
I was pleasantly surprised. Thank you, Omen. I really did enjoy this movie. It was.
Did you not
very
think it was
funny.
going to be good?
I didn't have an opinion of it whatsoever. I liked the Lego movie, and I assumed that there was going to be some some love for the IP, and they didn't fail in that respect, and it was very, very funny. All kinds of little tiny things constantly hitting you in this movie. It was
this movie was great. So, Shadow, you'll be, for the rest of this month, it's safe to say you'll be in the world of Ravenloft?
yes. Although I will be reviewing a couple more Vengeance Satanis books he sent me. Since
cool.
he sent them to me for free. I
get a hold of at least one of those.
I love his work, and despite what Bo said, free things can be reviewed objectively.
I'm going to bring up one thing though. So when we're talking about the free things, remember, none of us are required. Unlike a lot of people, where their livelihood requires them to get access to stuff, we do this because we have fun and we enjoy it. And
Right, because like for example, Arduin.
Yeah.
I loved Arduin all my life, and yes, I'm going to be biased about it, but there have been things about Arduin that I'm not a fan of, and I talk to George and Dave regularly and let them know, and quite often they actually, take my advice to heart.
Aren't you basically just a part of Emperor's Choice now?
I don't know that I'm legally allowed to say that. So there's that. And if they would take my money, I would send them thousands and thousands of dollars to be on the payroll, so to speak, or whatever.
Wouldn't that be the other way around? They'd be
Will
spending.
you pay them money so that you could get paid by them?
Well, yeah, invest it, in the future of the franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I-
why
I-
would you give them money
I'm just
just
trying
so
to say
you
it as
get
simply
paid?
as possible, but
No.
there's. I'm going to be honest when I review stuff. I have been honest with, like for example, Next Level Miniatures. I bought the Kickstarter, and I freaking hated it. It was an absolute, total travesty of a Kickstarter and product. but there have also been, things that I've gotten for free that I did not like.
Wait, like what?
Oh, there was something. I nothing's coming to mind right now, but Starschlock. The rules. They've sent us free stuff, and there have been things about the game that I just didn't like. But there are things that I do like. It's not an all or nothing situation when I review something. I'll say, I'll tell people about the good and the bad and let people decide for themselves, which I think is more important. Because one of those little things might be, a deal breaker, or the opposite, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Because there are, as I've come to discover, when it comes to gaming, there are often two kinds of people, or people in two camps, that being setting over system. So, maybe you're more for the, system. That's what you're looking for, is a better system. Some people looking for a setting. Some people would like a nice mix in between. And
maybe it's just me, but I think using other people's settings is not something I would ever want to do.
Good for you.
But
part of it to me just comes down to, do I want to put that work into it or just use what people have? And I don't mind it either way. It's just on how much time you have to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, because I have been, a system guy. There was a time where I was looking for, the right system. And now I've read so many systems that, I can tweak a system easier than I can tweak a setting. And I want a good setting. If I'm going to spend the money, I want to know that there's a whole world that I'm going to absolutely love.
I truly get that. I truly do. Well,
yes, Tank Girl was absolutely hysterical.
Tank Girl was amazing. I like the comic book Tank Girl. I did not care for the movie.
I never got to read a whole lot of the comic book, and the movie was funny. I wasn't a real big fan of the actress.
I think that was my problem with Tank Girl. I wasn't a fan of the.
But I can see why they picked her. She played the part the best of her ability, and I can't think of too many people that could have done as good a job as she did. But I did find her annoying.
I'd love to add this one to the sci-fi list, but it really isn't.
Which one?
Because if we can't add James Bond to the sci-fi list, then we cannot add Kingsman to the sci-fi list.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, if you're talking Moonraker, absolutely. If you're talking, Dr. No, maybe not. If you're talking GoldenEye.
Have you ever seen the movie Kingsman, Shadow?
No, I haven't. I do want to see it, but I haven't. But what about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Ooh, that's an interesting one because that's set back. It's futuristic. Though
there's futuristic aspects to the time of there where
aren't there some robots in it though?
I don't remember any.
No, yeah, Mr. Jekyll and Hyde, which would be sci-fi. You have a vampire, which is sci-fi.
I don't know that I consider vampires sci-fi. You can put them in a sci-fi setting, which would be phenomenal. And the topic of one of my sci-fi chapters.
What was that sci-fi movie years ago?
Life Force with the vampire.
I was thinking the Planet of Vampire or something like that.
Oh, you know what? Is Ultraviolet is one that I remember seeing.
Flash Gordon needs to be put on the list.
I have Flash Gordon on the list.
Yeah.
It's number 5 or 6.
We would be incredibly remiss if that wasn't the case. Yes, Cherry 2000, great movie, Justin.
The Phantom. God, The Phantom was another good old.
I enjoyed it because I enjoyed The Phantom, but it could have been done so much better.
And it's not sci-fi.
Just like The Shadow. Alec Baldwin, even though I hate him and I hope he dies in a dumpster fire, he did at the time a really good job playing The Shadow, and it was a good movie. I really love more than Alec Baldwin in the movie, just because he was just such a slimy, greasy character that just
Yeah,
oh.
I get you.
I mean,
and watching him try to put the moves on the actress, the main love interest, was just so unbelievable. It was just like, no, just no.
All right, Al has a comment. He went to throw in there.
Yes, it is absolutely science fiction. Says so in the theme song.
I'm not disagreeing with Rocky Horror Picture Show.
My response to this is hell no.
And you know what? I'll support you on that.
Hell no, as in whether we will watch it and review it. Yes. Sci-fi, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree that it doesn't count.
It might be sci-fi, but I will be absent. I will set it up for everybody. I will not be there. I absolutely hate that film.
I've seen that movie like 200 times, and I still wouldn't review it here.
Well, hold it, Connell. That's only because Shadow has been playing as Frankenfurter. Sorry.
I was in the live cast at the Orange Mall, but I did not play Rocky.
Not making that argument any better than Shadow.
No.
Oh,
hey, it was a good way to meet women when I was a teenager, and
hey, there is no shame if you're picking up
incredibly
women.
scantily dressed women at the
Pretty
Rocky Horror Picture
cringe.
Show.
I don't know if we'll actually be able to do a November theme movie. There is really none other than families get together. But if we ever did a family through one, I would do the old, was it 1981s with Dudley Moore Arthur?
Hmm.
Yep,
That's a classic.
Okay, so guys, right now, since everyone's helping out in the chat, I have.
There are no photos from that era, Justin. There literally aren't, because
that's why
cameras,
we get a picture of
cameras
him. Justin, we'll just get a picture of him now, and we'll use a little AI magic, and we'll make it happen.
Well, the problem was
Bunker
he was
of
playing
absolutely
Janet.
Sci-fi. Whether I would want to watch it during this year,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, yeah, that would count. I guess.
I just saw that movie all that long ago. It's weird. It's not high. It's fucking weird.
I mean, guys, the fact that I actually played Rocky is funnier than anything you guys have actually said.
It's funny. My ex-wife played did the musical down in Hollywood, Florida. She was the main housemate.
Oh, that's Magenta.
Yeah. I just don't like that movie at all.
I can't blame you whatsoever. Like I said, it was just, when you're a teenager and all your friends are going there as well to, try to hook up and what have you.
You know what? If it happened more than 20 years ago, I really don't care. So,
guys, it happened over 40 years ago.
Well,
Yeah, I was 14. So.
Ooh, 1952. The Machine That Kills Bad People.
Is that really
a movie?
What?
Is that really the title?
The Machine That Kills Bad People, yeah. A demon bestows on him. A demon bestows on a self-righteous working photographer a camera power to smite evildoers from the earth.
Was that written by an 8-year-old? I mean, come on.
I don't know. It came out
in Italian.
John. When it comes to genre, it says comedy, fantasy, and sci-fi.
we already
89% like this movie.
Wait a minute. We already watched The Earth Stood Still, so no. The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Somebody said Small Soldiers in the chat.
That is
that Small Soldiers. Tommy Lee Jones or Tommy Jones. Or,
Logan.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's no way that the machine that kills bad people
What,
is
Yeah,
not
Planet of the
just a
Apes
terrible
gotta be the-
translation.
what, hold it. So what did you want there?
Planet of the Apes, my first pick.
All right, so you want Planet of the Apes? I'm just putting it down.
which one?
The first one.
The original.
The original? Because there's only been 2 Planet of the Apes that were worth watching.
The first 2 then?
No, the first Planet of the Apes with Charles Heston, I'll give you that one. And the most recent one where...
We already watched The Day the Earth Stood Still, and I have War of the Worlds on my list. So
it was instead of starting in the far future of Planet of the Apes, it went back. It started where it first began and had the whole series. It was the most recent Planet of the Apes series. I thought it was actually worth watching.
So do we want to count Soylent Green?
Absolutely. Well, it's got none of the criteria we all ask for.
It's a utopian future movie.
No. Soylent
Yes,
Green is
utopian.
more of a it's a what I would call post-apocalyptic almost.
That's a
Or it's
utopia.
apocalyptic there. That's
Yeah.
Logan's Run. You know what? I did not have that
Dystopian.
down there. We need to have that in there. So Logan's Run.
But I would go with I would pass on that for Logan's Run or Silent Running or Rollerball. Soylent Green is really just a cautionary tale of, where we're headed. I mean, and literally we're steamrolling right toward that
Snowpiercer.
I've never seen it, but I
Oh,
wanted to.
Snowpiercer, the original movie.
The movie.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
That's
Actually,
the
I
sequel.
didn't
Well, if
mind
you're
it.
going to do that, don't you also have to watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory first?
Damn, you beat me to it. It's a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
You mean the glass elevator?
The Snowpiercer. Yeah, it's not really, but it very well feels that way.
You know what? I'm gonna put Zardoz just because it's so bad.
Oh, Sean Connery, Jesus.
You know
All
what? I don't know what happened to Sean Connery during the 1970s, but boy, he was in a bunch of stinkers.
Like Highlander?
No, that was 1980s.
Oh, okay.
He
I was referring
basically,
to Zardoz.
I absolutely love Morgan Freeman and not Morgan Freeman. I love Morgan Freeman, but that's not who I was thinking about. Samuel L. Jackson. He was in an interview. He's like, so not all your movies have been great. He's like, I don't care if it's a good movie or if it's a bad movie. If it pays the bills, I'm there. And I get that.
That was Robert Vaughn.
Samuel Jackson said it too.
The fact
And the
that,
internet agrees with me because it kicked him off for a second.
no, that was the thing that I was talking about. Is some of these. You know what? Universal Soldier is a good one, and yeah, I'll put that one in there.
Universal.
Is Enemy Mine on that list?
I have Enemy Mine on there. Yep.
Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Can't go wrong with one of those.
Well, there's Universal Soldier, but then there was also just called Soldier, or whichever the one with the.
Are you talking about the Kurt Russell movie in the future? That's like a weird Blade Runner. It's from the same universe as Blade Runner.
Yeah, I also have Outland on here too.
Good.
I want to thank chat for throwing more pasta at the wall to see what sticks. I think I'm going to have pasta tonight for dinner. Now that I think about it.
I'm up to 66 so far, but I mean, as people can add, they can just do things that they want.
We already did Westworld.
Yeah.
Yep, that was one of my
Like,
picks.
that is a good. Well, we could do the sequel.
Future World.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea, but
I don't know how to get a hold of it, but it's there.
That's never stopped us before.
Right.
I'm putting it on the list. We have so far about 66 on there, and I'm sure there's a lot more. And some of it is just like, oh, there are all these other films that we really enjoy a lot. That's part of the reason I'm doing it, because it makes it easy to say, because while I like this film, but you can go down the list and go, yeah, but I like this one better. So that's part of the reason I'm doing this.
A Trip to the Moon.
I'm not even familiar with that one.
It's an Italian, 1902.
Oh, I'm going to ask one because it's kind. I'm not sure if this counts, but can we count Space Cowboys?
I don't know how we can't count it, but whether we want to watch it.
Space Cowboys. Is that one with Clint Eastwood?
Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland.
I would say that's a sci-fi movie because it's real science, and they're I'd say I would give that a pass.
I'm putting it on the list. You guys don't have to pick it. I'm just bringing it up there.
Right, but no, I would give that one a pass just because it is by definition. Ooh, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, okay, it's on the list. I also have Split Second down here somewhere.
I don't know if
I'm guessing 2001's getting a hard pass.
I thought I had.
I've never enjoyed the movie, but it is sci-fi.
Yeah, it's sci-fi.
I mean, if
what about the most recent Dune movie? I know we did the old Dune.
No. Dune is one I'm going to have in there because I like the new Dune one.
Okay.
I'm going to put that one in there for mine. But
I don't mind Dune remakes if they're good.
I like the new Dune remake, but it's slow. But I thought that they did a good job for
Dune needs to be slow. I will argue to that one that not exactly be the hill I die on, but the Dune movies need to be broken up into at least 3 different movies to be done correctly.
Well, this one was broken up into 2. So
I agree, Grandma. 2001, I get it, that it's slow, but it's one of those movies.
I prefer 2010 actually over that one, but
that one wasn't bad either. It's just it's a classic because of when it came out.
Sure.
And
somebody picks it. I'm not going to say no.
I can't say no because it has spaceships. So
and technically it has
no fucking burn.
Almost a robot.
Yeah,
at least
I
robot.
count
AI.
I count the AI.
Yeah, you're right, Justin. The book was better, but it's just it's one of those classic movies that everybody should see once. Otherwise, they're missing out on a lot of pop culture references, and the evolution of sci-fi. Here on Earth,
and special effects.
Hell, you brought up the Never Ending Story. I love that movie as a kid. But Never Ending Story 2 is fantasy, in my opinion.
That's fine.
I just had an idea.
I'm scared.
Yep.
I don't.
RPG Grandma.
You guys are
the breathing. You summarized the entire movie right there. No.
What's your idea, Sport?
Sorry, Jack.
Okay. There are several things that exist on the internet which I would consider to be sci-fi. You could watch them relatively quickly, but I don't know if you want, because if you want to only do movies, but yet again, we've also done books before. I don't know.
We kind of stepped away from books just because
it takes about 20 hours to get through a book in a lot of cases.
Yeah, if I, for example, recommend a show on YouTube that takes maybe an hour or 2 to complete the whole thing, would that be okay?
I'd rather just stick with movies.
I think that's going for movies, but part of it is just and I know that your father would want you to watch all of Firefly, but I just put Serenity on there.
That's what I'm saying, pilot episodes. I'm not saying the entire series, I'm saying pilot episodes. Omega Man with Charles Heston.
Ooh, but I don't know that that's sci-fi.
Yeah, that's one of the weird ones. It's not quite sci-fi in my view.
It's mutants.
I know, but that's more post-apocalyptic.
We've already thrown a couple of those on the list.
Well, no, I mean most of these, like Planet of the Apes, has a but no, most of them aren't actually post-apocalyptic too much, or they have a lot of, or you can tell it's definitely future sci-fi. So
okay, The Blob, 1958.
I don't know about The Blob, but I'll put it down.
Alien.
I don't know.
I have Alien.
I don't know that The Blob with Steve McQueen counts as sci-fi. It's more horror.
But Steve McQueen.
I'm right there with you, but there's nothing about it it's anything
All
other
right.
than
I'm just asking. I'm like,
by that definition, I would throw in, the newer Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but it's not.
well, their spaceships
I
were
mean, it's sci-fi because the pods come from outer space. That's it. But
T8.
that's
What was that?
that's it's still just horrible.
THX 1138.
I've never seen it, but I think that would count.
I've been dying to watch that one, just because I've never seen it and I've heard so many things about it growing up, but I just never, for a long ass time it was not available, So I just kept hearing more and more about it. It was like heavy metal, before I was able to see it. I heard about it forever, and then it was on like HBO at like 4:00 in the morning, and then it didn't no, it wasn't on TV or whatever for another like 10 more years. And the only way you could watch it was literally off bootleg VHS cassettes.
Well,
I watched THX 1138 probably a good 20-something years ago when they had it on Sci-Fi Channel. And
it's on HBO right now.
Okay. Well, that's true. It is. I'm not sure it's worth the watch because it was really part of. It was like his film. It was his film
debut.
Not just debut. I think it was his. It was for his college film. Director.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, that counts.
But is anybody honestly, realistically going?
Oh, I love that movie. For Halloween next year, I might pick that one.
I could actually see that.
Transformers?
I guess.
Definitely
Yeah,
sci-fi.
Transformers counts. Which version?
You did hear the hesitance in my voice, though, when I said it. Though.
Well, just because it's on the list doesn't mean we have to watch it. I'm just creating a list so we have.
Yeah.
Just what
This
people.
year would stretch on to several years, or we'd have to do multiple shows a week.
Yep.
Transcendental.
I have critters down there. RPG Grandma.
Transcendental. What the hell is this? Oh, this is the one where Johnny Depp movie. Yeah.
The Day of the Triffids. Yeah, I guess.
That one's just weird. I remember that one. That was a weird movie.
Well, some of them I'm like, look, just because you mentioned something doesn't mean I'm going to watch it. I'm just putting stuff up. I mean, certain things like Ice Pirates, I absolutely want to rewatch. So
I've never seen it. So
Bruce is doing that movie tomorrow.
I mean, if you look at some of it is Galaxy Quest.
that's a good one.
Oh, Galaxy Quest is a great one. So some of these I'm putting down whether we watch them or not, but it's but yeah, we got to watch Galaxy Quest. We got to watch Ice Pirates at some point just because we need some humor in there.
So did you say Soylent Green is on the list?
I think I left that one kind of off, but
Okay.
Yeah,
I just found it on HBO, so I was looking at it. I'm like, well, I have the option of watching that.
well, I've watched Soylent Green because I heard about it for so long that I sat there and watched. And I didn't realize this until I started looking at all the movies for Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston was sci-fi and fantasy. Yes.
What about Lucy with
Oh yeah, Lucy, I guess would count. I wouldn't argue about that one. How do you feel about what about Push? Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah, it's sci-fi through.
La comida ya está lista.
Oh.
I'm to go.
All right.
See you later, Jack.
What about Limitless?
Oh, you know what? If you really
Limitless,
want to
that's a good movie. But I don't know that. I mean, it's kind of sci-fi, but
It's a super drug.
which
it
one?
might or
Oh,
might not be a real thing.
Actually, the trip to the moon, if we do this movie, is about 17 minutes long, so we could actually make that a double feature. On top of something else.
Well, let's see. I've got a bunch of stuff in here.
I think we've annoyed chat long enough, and I want to give them a thank you for adding options to the list. I always appreciate that.
I probably had a good 15 to 20, and I'm not saying I got all of them.
Right. Edward Scissor. No, that's not sci-fi. It's weird, but it's not sci-fi. But yeah,
You know what? One I did kind of like, if we're going to mention this, was it was a cartoon that came out. I'll have to look it up. I remember watching it around 2000 or so. It was classic, but it was.
Hugo was a good movie. It's a kids movie, but it was a good movie.
Oh, what was the other ones that you have in there? Bicentennial Man.
The Bicentennial movie. That movie always.
That's a great freaking movie.
That movie always makes me cry.
It's great, but it's sad. It's one of Robin Williams' best.
Next to What Dreams May Come.
Okay, I'll be there in a minute.
All right. Well, thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Elle, Justin, and everybody else. We are gone 14 minutes over. Thank you for adding movie to the list. Next week, we will be doing Big Trouble in Little Chinatown with.
I thought we were doing Death Race.
It's Big Trouble in Little China. Then I think it's Death Race, isn't it?
Okay.
Who goes first, Mark or Bo?
I think it's Mark. Well, we'll find out.
Okay. All right.
Either way, it'll be fun. If you haven't seen Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, it's definitely a must. Has a bunch of actors in it that were popular at the era, plus has Kurt Russell in it, so it can't be all that bad. It was a fun little movie. I mean, you could definitely make a D&D campaign out of that movie. With that being said, everybody out there have a good evening.
Ooh, The Running Man.
With Arnold?
Yes.
All right. And one of these Sundays, I will give you out my super secret recipe for a really good dirty martini, but it won't be this week.